Hey all, it's Cami here, and I am going to be talking today about the three things that keep you from growing on social media. There are three things that I have found that keep most people from growing on social media, and I want to share those with you today right away. So, my name is Cami Hoyza. You are listening to Smart Social Secrets Tips, and I'm so glad you're here. Definitely let me know you're here by leaving a comment below this video, wherever you are, and make sure you comment, share, and follow me too if you aren't yet already. So that is the things I need to say, they tell me. So I want to right away just jump into this. People have as a thing that is impeding them from growing on social media. And again, I work with a lot of I am a coach and I'm also an agency owner. So I hear a lot of the problems that people have around social media and what they think is stopping them from growing. So I'm going to share some of the ones that I hear the most often and that you probably may have said to yourself. So definitely let me know if any of these make any sense to you. So there's three things that I hear most often that people think that are keeping them from growing. Number one is they feel like they don't have the time or money to grow social media because it is, time consuming, they think, and it can be. And so that's number one. Number two, you may feel like you're late to the game. I hear that all the time. Like, I haven't been on social media forever and I'm starting from zero and all of that. So that's number two. And number three, a lot of what I hear is that the deck is stacked against me. So I will go into each one of these and tell you some of the tips and tricks I have for getting through them and over them. But let me know which one of those sounds the most familiar to you. And hi, Tracy, I see you in there. Thank you for commenting. So tell me which one you think of these three is the one that you feel is probably stopping you the most. And if there's something else, definitely put that in the comments too. But these are the three I hear the most often. So let me know what you think. Okay, so I'm going to move right on into don't have the time or the money, because I think the don't having the time or the money is maybe the top one that I hear, right? So number one excuse that I hear about this all the time is that they've tried it and it was a time suck. It was just too much of a time suck for them and they just didn't have time to do it. And it just didn't seem like it was paying off, right? They didn't have an ROI from it or whatever, or they felt like they didn't. And so they stopped because they just didn't have time. Fear of outsourcing was another one that I hear a lot. And a lot of people just says, I'm ready to get this off my plate. I had a guy actually just yesterday, which is funny because I'd already prepared this, and he sent me a message basically saying, I have been trying to DIY it myself for a long time and I just need to get this off my plate. But he feels like he can't really afford it. He's a small nonprofit and he feels like he can't, right? So that is number two of the things I hear a lot there. And so so I thought it was interesting because I was just writing this up. And then number three was they have no money to pay for ads. So everybody believes that you must have ads in order to grow on social media these days. And there is something to that. You do get in front of bigger audiences. But the problem with thinking this way is that ads don't really work on bad content. I mean, I will tell you this is true. And if you've been in any ads courses, they'll tell you, you have to test your content, and the content that performs the best, that's what you spend money on. And so until it actually performs, it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense to spend a ton of money on it. So that would be number two. So that's really interesting to me, that people feel that they can't do ads or they feel like they need ads, but just adding ads to like a bad, idea is not going to help it. And then number four, no time to manage it all. So I don't know if you're a no time or money person or you feel like you are. But I do remember way back in the day, whenever I really didn't want to hire anyone to help me because I was a solopreneur and I just felt like I would be cutting too much into my profit if I gave out any money to anybody else because I wouldn't have then money left for me. Like, I wouldn't have anything to pay myself. You want to make more than like $2 an hour, right? That's the saying. And I was afraid. And so what I found is that when I did finally hire a VA and did start getting some help with tasks, even if it wasn't like, social media tasks, but other tasks, it freed me up to do those things. And then I was able to grow and get more clients because I was more visible. So it's like a vicious cycle if you don't like come up with systems or something like that. So that time suck one is true. I mean, social media can be very time consuming, but if you have a system, it goes much smoother, well more smooth than if you don't. So one of the things that I talk about right away is like, how can you minimize what you do? And so I'm just going to give you my workflow. I've done this a couple of times and people seem to get a lot out of it. And we've been working on it a lot lately. Tracy's here with me and she's been working with me hard on this too. So I'm going to spill the beans, even though we're kind of new to our process. But right now, what I do is this live stream, we'll do this on Thursday mornings. And then I have a team member that takes what I say and writes it up into a blog post. And then Tracy posts it and she puts it out through all the social media. So we take pieces of what I'm doing right now, and this becomes the social media that you'll see on my channels in like a couple of days, like next week. And so I also send out an email next week about this live stream and a little bit about what we said here. And then I invite people to the next live stream. And that's sort of how we're running that. You could do that with a blog post. You could do that with a video, but repurposing content will save you hours and hours of time. So you want to think about how you can minimize what you're doing. So everybody says post, 3-4 times a week. Yeah, but don't necessarily have to come up with all new content to do that. You definitely want to get it in front of people. And I have people say to me all the time, well, you seem to be everywhere. And I'm like, well, I do one live stream a week. And then I do take speaking engagements because I think that does help me to get in front of other people's audiences in a very efficient way, right? So I can grow my audience and so on. Yeah, we have a system that limits the extra effort. And that's really what you need to do too. And even if you don't have a team, which I know I do, but I didn't for a long time. And I did something similar. I just did less. I did the live stream and then I cut it up into some pieces and I just sent it out. And I didn't even do the cutting. I just would take the whole episode and then share it out on the various channels. So that's what I did before the team took some of that on for me. But you could even, for like turning it into a blog post, it doesn't have to be super fancy. I have a outline that I made for this today, and it's on the slides I'm showing you. So I could just take the outline and very minimally fill it out, put it up on the website with a embed to the YouTube channel where I'm also streaming this live so that I can then grab that YouTube channel and embed it. And then every time everybody watches it on our website, we get a YouTube channel view. So it's a really, really smart way to spread your content until you can get a team to help you with all of the little pieces or a tool or whatever it is. But just thinking in terms of systems will help you with the time and the money problem. And as you grow and your business, whether you are a social media manager for a business or whether you are just doing your own social media for your business, this is a way to grow your capacity over time, because as you get more well known for what you do, then you're going to be able to afford more people to help you. You're going to have more time to put stuff out. So anyway, it's kind of a cycle. That makes sense to everybody. So that is what it is for no time or money. I'm going to show you that slide again so you can see it. But we, you've tried it before. It was a time suck. I didn't address that one. So with trying it before, it was a time suck. We did address the systems, but the other thing is consistency. So one of the really interesting things about social media, and we'll be talking about the algorithm here in just a minute, is that the platforms reward consistency over time, and they reward people engaging with your content. So we'll talk about that in just in a minute. But if you haven't consistently, if you keep, you go for a couple of weeks and you're like, oh, nothing's happening, and you drop off, you're actually probably sabotaging yourself right before you're going to have success. And you have to be okay with talking to nobody out there. It's okay, honestly, because of what I do. If I come on here and I talk to crickets, I actually would love you to be here. And I hope that you guys will interact with me here. I see that there are people here. So definitely let me know you're here. But even if you don't, in the end of the day, this is going to be a piece of content that runs my business for an entire week. And then we also put it into an evergreen pile, and it will be using it again and again and again for a couple of years, probably. So, it's just something that you want to keep in mind is that that instant gratification that social media really promotes isn't always necessary to be successful. All right. So, moving on to number two, the number two reason that you are probably not growing on social media. And that is another excuse you're probably telling yourself, which is, hey, I'm new, I'm kind of late to the game. That's sort of something I hear a lot too. Like, I can't keep up with all these people who've been around forever. People say that to me all the time. And I'll tell you a few things about that in a minute too. I've been around a long time for sure, but I've not always been consistent. So because of that, I have not grown the way I probably should have. So there you go. I'm telling on myself a little bit. But here's the thing. You might say to yourself, I'm a new business or I'm a new organization and I have no track record, so I can't catch up with all those people. And here's the thing. People are always looking for something new and different. They're always looking for something new and different that they can get involved with. So people want to see exciting things that are going on, and they will come and participate in that. So here's what I'm going to say: focus on building community. And if you focus on building community with people, then that doesn't really matter when you came into the game. I have seen people come and go. So I've been around long enough to see people rise meteorically from like nothing and just disappear just as quickly. So I don't think that that's true. That you have to be like, I think being new can be an advantage sometimes because it gives you novelty. Some people will be like, well, I've seen that person, I know everything they have to say, and they'll start tuning you out. So novelty actually can really help you. So that's the first one. No track record is definitely, you're going to have to work hard. But again, like I said in the last slide, consistency is everything. You start showing up and people start hearing you, seeing you, and you'll be shocked who's listening to what you're saying and what you're doing. And then it comes out in a conversation and you're like, I've never seen you on one of my live streams, but they've seen you out there. And even if they only watched like 30 seconds of it, they're like, oh, I know Cami is talking a lot right now about content creation or podcasting or live streaming. And guess what? Then you get calls and people start to ask you if you can come do that for them too. So that's from a consultant's point of view. It's the same thing for an organization though, like a company or a nonprofit or whatever, is that you have to get your stories out there so that you can then get people's attention over time. And so it really is a time game. It's a long game. I've always said it's like a marathon and not a sprint. Social media is like a marathon and not a sprint. It is not about who can get to the top the fastest, as much as we focus on trends and trending audio and trending video and all of that, which is great. And going viral, believe me, it's exhilarating when you do, but it is not the goal. It should not be the goal. The goal is always to build a community that knows you, trusts you, and is willing to buy from you or help you out with your cause. That is the goal. Okay. So sorry, I just had to really, I didn't want to go past that without really being clear about that. So the second thing on that is that you might say, no one follows me. It's an uphill battle. And that can feel really irritating, frustrating when you try and you try and you try, and it seems like nobody's paying attention. So here is something that I want to talk about in fixing this. It may be true at first that not a lot of people follow you. And we'll talk about, again, I'm going to tell you about the algorithm in a minute because you have to reward the algorithm for it to reward you. However, here's the thing. In the end of the day, it really doesn't matter how many people follow you so much as how many people buy from you or like engage with you. And so what I would suggest in this case is to really understand like deeply what are the problems of the people that you're trying to serve. Because those problems are what you should be talking about incessantly. People should be attracted to what your content is because you're solving their problems. I don't know why you're here today, but I would suggest that it's probably because you kind of felt like, yeah, I feel like I'm being blocked from having a lot of good success on social media. And I want to find out some ideas for how I can break through that. If that's true, thumbs up, put it in the comments, like this post or whatever. But in the end of the day, if you are attracted to this content, that is why, because it is a problem that you have and that you need solved, or you have a piece of that problem somehow. So you want to find out what those are for people and what really are keeping people up at night, so to speak, about certain parts of their world. And so whatever it is you do, you've got to be really dialed in to how you can help people, but less talking about you and more talking about them and their problems. The third one is, why would anyone care about what I have to say? It's imposter syndrome. This happens all the time, is where people feel like that they don't really have a lot to say or offer. Here's the funny thing. One of the questions I ask my coaching clients is, I ask them, what is the one thing that people always come to you for advice? Is there something that your friends, family, neighbors, they're always coming to you to ask your advice on it? That is probably your superpower. And you may think it's common sense, like, oh, everybody knows that. And they don't. They don't know it. And in fact, here's another little litmus test I often talk about. What is the thing that really bugs you when people don't get it? Like I remember, when I was first coming up into the public relations field, I really would be frustrated because everybody would keep, my grandfather actually would keep saying, oh yeah, I know you're a lobbyist, because I worked for a trade association in Washington, D.C. He goes, yeah, you're a lobbyist. And I'm like, no, I do public relations, Dad, or Grandpa. And I said, I talk to the media. I put together messaging and communications for the membership. That's what I do. I don't talk to Congress. I have colleagues that do that, but I don't do that, right? And so I'm saying, like, gosh, nobody understands what PR is, right? And so that would really upset me. And that is because, for me, that community building and communications, it is my superpower, and it turned out to be my superpower. And so, it really would frustrate me when he didn't understand the intricacies of what I did. And so I think that if you have something like that, guess what? That is your superpower. Think about what that could be for you. And often those things are, again, do your friends come to you for advice on this topic? Number two, do you think it's common sense and you think everybody should know it? And number three, does it really frustrate you when people don't get it when you try to explain it? Those are the three things that I really suggest that are probably going to show you what the problems are that you can solve for your audience. So yeah, anyway, there's that. And then the third thing that is stopping you, really blocking you from doing better on social media, is this idea that the deck is stacked. I think this is the most pervasive idea out there that I think needs to be banished from the internet, is this idea that the deck is stacked. Always the deck is stacked, right? We know that. Our society has consistently stacked the deck against all kinds of different groups and people, and it's a problem in our society. But I want to talk a little bit right now about social media and the specific technological pieces of that, which is the algorithm, which I know is a huge excuse for all of us for why we don't do better on the internet. So I'm going to talk about the algorithm. I'm going to talk about advertising. Yeah, I don't like the system. I'll talk about that a little bit too. Like people that just don't like the system and they're like, I don't want to play this game. And then a little bit about failure and feeling of failure and shame whenever you don't get where you need to go. And you're like, what's wrong with me? I've said it to myself. What's wrong with me? And in the end of the day, it's not helpful. So number one is you can't beat the algorithm. So I am going to come in and talk to you straight face to face, eyeball to eyeball about the algorithm. So on all the social media platforms, the algorithm is trying to serve content to you that will keep you on the platform for longer. So whatever will serve you content that keeps you there longer, they will serve it to you or to your audience. And so it isn't, that they're trying to, suppress your page. They don't really care. They're kind of agnostic against the content. Yes, they would love it if you ran ads, but unless you have success from those ads, they don't get a whole lot out of that. In fact, right now they are actively at Facebook, assigning people to you to help you with your ads. I'm an agency owner. I run a social media marketing agency, and I have been set up with a Facebook consultant who calls me and helps me with my ads. And so, in fact, I'm meeting with her this afternoon. So, in the end of the day, they really want you to be successful. So, you'll spend more money, not just spend more money to spend more money, because they also have a problem in the advertising that more people are buying ads than they have spaces for it. So that's why there's a lot of jostling and they suppress some content. So they're looking for, even in ads, they're looking for good content that people want to interact with and that they stay on the platform longer. So yes, they will depress things that have links in it to outside the platform, although they'll still show them. It's just not going to be, if people, all they do is bounce onto your thing and bounce off of Facebook, Facebook is not going to love that. The algorithm, not Facebook itself, but the algorithm wants to keep people there. So if you engage with them for a while on that, like video, which is why I'm using video, because video engages people longer and you stay here longer. But I do have a link in my caption that takes you to a resource that I want to give you after we're done here that'll help you to connect with people better on these platforms. But the end of the day, you definitely want to engage with people longer. And so a couple of things, and this is really big time for TikTok right now, but it's for all of the platforms. It's very similar across platform, is that they're serving you content that they think that you will like. And so if you engage with certain kinds of content, they're going to give you more of that kind of content. And if you engage with certain people, they will give you more of those people. And so here's the deal. You have to connect with your customers on the platforms, not just broadcast to them, which I'm doing right now. Hi, I'm broadcasting, but I also need to connect with you. Like, that's why it's critical that I have like you commenting to me, like commenting in my, if you love this, commenting is like a huge payment for me, because then the algorithm knows that you like what I am showing you and they'll show you more of that. From me and from other people that also are going to give you the same kinds of content. So that is why interaction is so important. So if you're connecting with people and you're talking to them and you're commenting on their stuff and they're commenting on your stuff, they're going to show you more of that. And so that is how the algorithm actually works. And it's different. Like, everybody has a different experience when they come on to social media. And so, yeah, they're not showing your mom's stuff because maybe you haven't really interacted with your mom's stuff lately. So even like, if you want to see people's things, you have to purposefully go and interact with them and not just take whatever the algorithm is feeding you. That is the truth. And so, yes, it is a problem. It is difficult. But if you understand that, then it becomes a lot easier, right? It becomes a lot easier to understand what's going on. I have heard that there are people, we had a guest on Social Media Breakfast last month, well, earlier this month, we're still in March, earlier this month, that told us that there are brands that are taking their TikTok account and they're hiring people to all day go through the TikTok and only interact with people and content that they want to see their stuff. So they're being very, very focused on only like having their accounts look at things that they have on there that it is like their content. They want to be looking at other people's content that's like their content, so that when they're going out there, people will be served their content that are looking for that type of content. I know that was really a lot of stuff there. But anyway, the bottom line is, for you, it's easier than that. All you need to do is open up your social media platform of choice for 15 minutes a day and get out there and interact. And I put in the comments, not in the comments, but in the promo, or at the beginning of this, in the caption, that's what I'm trying to get to. I put in the caption a link to my 2x2, which is a methodology for getting that done 15 minutes a day. So definitely grab that, because it's free. It's like 5 emails over a series of couple of like weeks, and it teaches you how to do this. But I would really suggest you grab that, because that's what you need to do to get people to start seeing you. You have to put content out for sure, but you also have to interact. And those two together are like great, amazing. You'd be shocked at how quickly it works for you, and how people start to connect with you. Stop spam DMing people. If you're doing that, don't, because what really works is interacting with them publicly. and also DMs work, but like only if like it's a conversation and not a pitch. Okay. off my soapbox on that one. All right. So now I'm going to go back to my little slide and I'm going to show you the other ones. So can't do it without the ads. Okay. I think I've already addressed that one. You can beat the algorithm. I've told you exactly how to do it. You can't do it without the ads. Yes, you can. Although I will say that once you have great content and you have some really great organic engagement with content, that's the content that you want to put an ad on. The content that's doing well organically is the content you want to boost with an ad because, oh, hey, it'll just work better because more people like that will see it and they'll engage with it. So yeah, do not put boosts on things that are failing because that's not going to help you. It won't. It just won't get anywhere. More people will see it and be annoyed by it. Okay, you don't like the system. I hear this all the time. Well, I'm just opting out. I'm taking my marbles and I'm going home. I'm not doing social media. They're evil and all the people are evil and it's an evil platform. Well, I mean, it's definitely not a moral platform in the sense that, it's not out to like do that. But I would just say, like, if you plan to connect with people, that's where people are right now. That's where you need to be too. So you need to think that through. It's your, however you feel about it is where you need to go. But on the other hand, from the point of view of the marketing side, I am going where my community is, wherever that will be. It is evil. Yeah, it is evil. It is evil. I mean, okay, we'll give you that. Thanks, Marilyn. I'm so glad you gave me a comment. I'm gonna reward that. So yeah, definitely you want to make sure that is something that you make your own decisions on. But I will tell you that I have gone from platform to platform to platform throughout my career, and I go where my people are. Even if I'm not super thrilled with the platform, I have to be honest. When Instagram, I was not I kind of don't like Instagram. I know people love it, and I'm growing to love it better, and I'm doing better over there, and I'm spending more time over there now. I loved Twitter for the longest, and right now I like it less because it's just so political, and I'm just not a political like animal. So you've got to do what you do. But if my community was all in there, I'm going to be there with them. That's what I do. Okay, number 4, feeling shame at your failure. So I'm going to come in and talk to you guys. I'm just like, this is a heart to heart now. Here's the thing. I can see it's, and I'm a public relations communications professional. So one of the things that I know about people like me is that we can feel a lot of shame when our channels aren't the way they should be. And I know a lot of you are public relations and marketing professionals because that tends to be who follows me and who I connect with online. And the truth is that it's like, we know we should be doing it. P.S. We even know how to do it, but often we don't take the time out to do it. And so there's some shame around that, and I'm just going to encourage you that this isn't about who has the best following and who has the biggest, numbers on their accounts. I really feel like the quality is more important than the quantity when it comes to successful social media, because in the end of the day, if you are running a successful business or organization or whatever you're doing out there with your communications, you are winning, right? And we have this thing that bigger is better, and it is not. Most companies, their biggest income come from repeat customers. Did you know that? Did you know that? I don't have the stat right here on me right now, but it's high. It's like in the 80, 90s. It's big. So if you do not have repeat customers, that's what you should be working on. And social media is a great way to reach them, to add value all the time, to always be adding value. I should come up with some sort of acronym for that because I really feel like that's the key. So many people want to hold back and hide what they know. I have never been that way. I will come out and tell you what I found out, what I learned last week, what I'm learning this week, because if I'm not looking ahead, to the next thing, there's something wrong with what I do. So, and also if I add value to people, they're going to be feeling pretty comfortable about buying from me because I will organize all of this mess. I come out here and talk to you guys every week, but like in my programs, I actually have a pathway to success and I teach them point by point by point what they need to do, for example. Or with a client, we take them by the hand and we create a strategy and then we watch and see what's going on in their strategy and make adjustments as we go along. So, that is something that, is worth the money they pay us. Yes, they could go and watch all of my videos and figure out how to do it themselves. But what I found to be true is that most of the time people are like, Kimmy, I love your videos. I love what you do, but hey, can you just do this for me? Or can you help me with this? That's what I found to be true. And not everybody. And some people will go out and DIY it. I did it for years. DIY, and was pretty successful at it, but also sometimes was pretty stressed out. So anyway, that is what I wanted to talk to you guys about today. I will put up the last slide here, which is the 3 things in order. And if you have any questions, definitely drop them into the comments. But if you don't, I will, just let you have, a couple more hours of your day today. Or minutes, not hours. So the 3 things that keep you from growing on social media are that you don't have the time or the money, or you feel like you don't have the time or money. You feel like you're new or late to the game and you can't quite catch up with everyone else. Or 3, that the deck is stacked against you with the algorithms and just kind of the way that the social media networks work. And in the end of the day, what actually is happening here is that, as I always say, your community counts more than your content even. So let me just tell you and encourage you that if you focus on your community 15 minutes a day, that's it. 5 days a week, take the weekends off, I don't care. 15 minutes a day, focus on your community, and I promise you, you will grow. You will grow. You will grow in numbers of people that listen to what you have to say. You will grow in all of the areas that you need to grow. And to help you along, I did create a free resource, which I have put in the caption, which is really our 2x2 that teaches you how to do this on a daily. So how to grow your tribe, like how to grow your community online. And so definitely grab that. It's free. And I hope to talk to you next week. I'll be right here at 9:30. Talk to you soon. Bye.